Past events influence the present and can be learned from. It's only that we can't work with the past since it's out of reach, and our memories are often muddled, and techniques to verify what happened are restricted. We rely on personal memories and diverse perceptions of ourselves or others. So the past is not just out of reach. Our memory of it is likely wrong, but we often repeat old events in our minds, experiencing the misery they caused us. Some think we may change the past by contemplating it, but this is a deception. The past is irretrievable and beyond our control. All we have left is to regulate our thoughts about something that has vanished forever. Many people say, "I wish I could have handled something better," but such wishes are impossible. These thoughts just arouse unfulfilled wants, delivering no positive gain instead of focusing on past occurrences. Marcus Aurelius focused on his response. We can't change past or present circumstances, but we can change how we react to them. Marcus Aurelius believed that how we endure traumatic childhoods, broken friendships, and unsuccessful economic ventures is more significant than the events themselves. He said, "It's unfortunate, but I'm lucky I wasn't hurt. Not broken by the present or afraid of the future. It might have occurred to anyone, but not everyone would have been uninjured. Why label one a disaster and the other lucky? Can you call something a misfortune that doesn't violate human nature? Or can something that's not against nature's will violate it because you know its will and what happened? Prevent you from doing justice, generosity, self-control, sanity, prudence, honesty, humility, straightforwardness, and other traits that let a person's personality shine?" Marcus Aurelius saw the past as a source of learning. He felt that by studying historical patterns and rhythms and how events ebb and flow, often repeating, we might better predict and prepare for the future. This perspective lets us extrapolate from the past to predict contemporary events. Marcus Aurelius often says that we only have access to the present moment, music. It allows us to see the infinite past and incomprehensible future. Marcus Aurelius focused on the now and what he could control. Even when we let go of the past and the future, we often worry too much about unimportant things. Matters unfolding before our eyes at this very moment, we often feel discontent with life in the here and now, and when events deviate from our desires, we often succumb to emotions like anger, sadness, or despair. But Marcus Aurelius says it's pointless. What happens in the world is beyond of our control, but we get upset when we don't like what's occurring or don't receive what we want. Marcus Aurelius advised us not to fight what's necessary. He compared poor people to pigs kicking and squealing when sacrificed. No use. We can't avoid the God's will. We cannot force the world to fulfill our goals, stop wars, natural disasters, or aging. We can't ensure that those we like will return our feelings or that everyone will have life's possibilities. Equally, this is impossible, but we spend a lot of time and energy opposing the immovable features of reality we cannot change. Despite our efforts, we swing between rage at unmet needs and despair at unwanted events. Thus, the present becomes a torture chamber where fortune rules. Conversely, we can become obsessed with the present and afraid to let go. We again give up control to fortune, but our utter involvement in everything transitory and ungovernable blinds us to our choices, actions, and opinions. Marcus Aurelius believed nature ruled us. We're deserters and fugitives if we escape from it or feel anguish or rage. Instead of being disgusted by or clinging to our surroundings, we should embrace nature and deal with it. Marcus Aurelius taught ways to live in the present in his 7th meditation book. He said we should focus on what we have rather than what we need. He advocated prudence in this technique. Treat what you don't have as non-existent, he said. Look at your most valuable possessions and consider how much you'd miss them, but be careful. Unlike constructive criticism, which may be useful, this is skeptical and pessimistic. Say you're excited about a new career path. You've done significant study, talked to industry experts, and maybe taken basic classes. When one professes enthusiasm for a project, critics list countless reasons why it will fail. Market competition is fierce. Do you have the skills? What if you fail early? The confident person's view began to change as their uncertainties resembled one's. How do you handle a naysayer, especially a close friend? An unconventional yet effective method is to seek their advice instead of just sharing one's goals. Putting people on an advisory board can reduce direct criticism and increase constructive comments. Positive confrontation reverses the narrative rather than absorbing tits negativity. Empower them to solve problems. If they say, changing careers is difficult, respond with an insightful view. What are good career transition strategies? This method redirects negative focus and encourages productive discourse. Are you familiar with Epictetus's Stoic philosophy? We can listen twice as much as we say because we have one mouth and two ears. Listening involves recognizing meaningful input from background noise, not just absorbing others' unfavorable thoughts. When questionable opinions cloud your canvas, step back, listen, and contemplate before painting your life with your colors. Prevent your colorful masterpiece from becoming gray. The 4. Victims to avoid. Like chess, everyone in life has the same ancestors and tries to destroy the other's king. You think strategically, make concessions, and take risks. However, the victim blames the board, pieces, or opponent for every bad move. Instead of checkmate decisions, they believe a decisional force is plotting against them to keep them in checkmate. In their continuous story, they play the defenseless protagonist. It's true that some people face legitimate challenges and systemic problems, like my boss disliking me or my genetics preventing me from getting in shape, but the victim uses their situation as an excuse to avoid responsibility for their actions. If you become caught up in their story, know that excuses exist, possibly as an ancillary figure who rescues them frequently. Suppose you've spent hours listening to a buddy blame their many failed romances on past partners. This wastes your time and implicitly promotes victimhood. Stoics warn against giving victims endless advice and emotional assistance as saviors. Set a barrier to protect your emotional health. Compassionate detachment may help. Show compassion but don't become involved in self-navigation. Avoid solving their problems while supporting them. Marcus Aurelius believed the best revenge is to be unlike the offender. If you become caught up in the victim's story, don't take their side. Maintain control of your gaming board and actions. Remember that perpetual check my life is often a decision in life's chess game. Make strategic sacrifices to advance your parts, and play for development and insight, not revenge or pity. Class of people to avoid, but 5. Toxic positivists are always negative. Sunshine, rainbows, and endless emojis tell you to be glad at difficult times, ignoring your emotions and experiences. You can compare your life to a garden with weeds, insects, and flowers. However, a toxic positivist refuses to accept anything else than a rose. They said, if you have aphids on your leaves, concentrate on the flowers. Do not allow negativity into your garden. While this seems encouraging, it may make you feel rejected and disconnected. Consider a terrible breakup, sadness, confusion, and the need for emotional balance. The poisonous positivism advises being happy and smiling. There are plenty of fish in the sea. Such an optimistic view ignores life's challenges and human feeling. Only a discussion that encompasses both light and shadow can cultivate one's garden and avoid destructive positivists from trample it with their indiscriminate positive energy. If someone tells you to be positive, remember your health. Yes, I am grateful for my health, but it is also acceptable for me to feel upset about this particular issue. You could also use emotional granularity, which psychologists define as the ability to perceive and distinguish a wide range of positive and negative emotions. Pause to label your complex feelings when a poisonous positivism tells you to be joyful. Stoic philosophy says it's okay to be sad today because of X. This can be freeing. Seneca once said, true happiness is knowing our responsibilities toward God and man, appreciating the present without preoccupied reliance on the future, striking a balance, and comprehending obligations that are not always apparent. Meditation and appreciating the present do not require fixating on the positive or negative. Equanimity is accepting life's complexities. When a poisonous positivist sprinkles confetti on your well-kept garden, remember that it needs sunlight and rain to grow. Maintain your garden with depth and complexity by embracing your complete emotional spectrum. Types of people to avoid. Number 6. The manipulator type. Imagine your life as a film script with a predefined narrative, settings, allies, mentors, and a final scene. A mysterious producer slowly rewrites your script until you realize it's off track. An emotionally manipulative person may use flattery, guilt trips, or lies to get what they want. Your friend may keep asking you to pay for dinner, saying, "I've been having a bad month and you're so successful that it wouldn't mean much to you, but it would definitely brighten my day." You realize that your generosity has been exploited, but it's hard to call them out because they framed it as a favor to a friend in need. Managing a manipulator is difficult. Some experts propose obfuscation, which involves accepting the manipulator's claims but rejecting emotional compulsion. If someone compliments your success and suggests that you pay for dinner, you might say, "You are correct that I have been doing well, but as we normally do, we will split the bill." Another strategy is to set and strictly follow boundaries. If the manipulator asks for money or an uncomfortable task, learn to say no with confidence. Keep your language simple and tone calm. I prefer emotional support over cash lending to set boundaries, maintain relationship, and draw from Stoic philosophy. Epictetus warned that while external events are unchangeable, our responses are. Predictable reactions let manipulators abuse your generosity, guilt, or need for praise. By changing our responses, we regain control over our scripts. If you find a manipulator in your life, remember that you write the script and control the narrative. The cast may be a V, but the script is yours. A protagonist's journey. Your ideals and choices should guide your path. Rewrite your life and don't let anyone change it. The 7th type of people to avoid is time vampires, who see their lives as a well-organized symphony with each instrument representing a different task or dedication. These activities create harmony when done together. When the time vampires arrive, they shriek off key, ruining the melody and turning the beautiful piece into a cacophony. Sometimes vampires are harmless. It could be a colleague who interrupts you with frivolous questions, upsetting your workplace, or a friend who repeatedly invites you to social gatherings you don't want to attend, wasting your time and energy. These interactions may seem minor, but their cumulative effect can be devastating. How can a symphony be protected from time vampires? A good time management method is the Pomodoro technique, which breaks work into 25-minute intervals with BS symphony pauses. The user specifically requests not to be interrupted during certain intervals. Set a limit to protect your most productive moments from a social vampire. Avoid extensive justifications and say, "No, it's okay and healthy. Despite vampire invitation, I cannot attend." Refusing an acceptable doesn't mean rejecting the person. It means supporting their needs and objectives. A life well lived is long enough. Stoicism teaches that time is infinite, like gold. The clean slate on which we build our lives requires considerable discretion in choosing which topics to focus on. Be sure each decrease is essential. As we conclude today's inquiry of those who could impede our path to Stoic resilience and wisdom, we reflect on ourselves. Not neglecting self-awareness, it is easy to detect these types in others, but harder and more instructive to evaluate oneself. Do you accidentally play one of these roles in someone's life? Stoicism is about self-improvement and understanding, not world navigation. If today's discussion has sparked any understanding, discovery, or introspection, I welcome your comments. Share your opinions and experiences in a discourse that benefits us all. May your decisions remain helpful and instructive till then.